We are moving to our second speaker now, Ms. Feba Jose. Ms. Feba Jose is a distinguished field linguist and literacy and education consultant based in central India. She holds a master's degree in applied linguistics and has developed significant expertise in language and development work. Ms. Jose has worked extensively with over 20 languages from various regions across India, demonstrating remarkable breadth in her linguistic experience. Her professional contributions include alphabet and orthography development, which she conducts alongside a team in linguists. She is a passionate advocate for literacy and collaborates actively with literacy teams to develop educational materials that preserve and promote minority languages. We welcome Ms. Feba Jose to speak on the topic From Speech to Script, Process of Language Documentation.
Thank you, Reverend Gosha Singh, for the introduction, and greetings to you all. And I'm grateful for this privilege of sharing with you about something that we as a team could do for the Indian languages. And I was happy to hear Father Dr. Victor, as he was mentioning about Thomas Stephens and his contribution to Konkani. And he was also mentioning about the complexities of Indian languages and the difficulties in writing them. So my topic mostly belongs to that topic, that theme, and I'll go forward now. From speech to script, the journey of developing orthographies for unwritten languages, a step toward language documentation. I have Dr. Binny Abraham also in this room. And human beings are blessed with this gift of speech, intelligible, interesting, and fluent. How beautiful and free-flowing it is when people communicate with each other and understand each other. We are all very familiar with oral language. We speak and communicate. We rarely think about how the words are formed or what sounds are pronounced when we speak. We might think about it only when we hear someone speak our mother tongue or a language that we know very well in a very wrong way. And when it comes to written language, we should think also about orthography. And we know that people have been communicating orally for several thousand years, and some of them still remain. Some larger languages and also some smaller languages still remain primarily oral even now. Behind the speech of oral language, there are complexities or intricacies that are not so evident on the outside. Yes, there are certain things like pronunciation that we can make out that this person is telling the things wrongly, but there is much behind the scenes. But when it comes to writing, this is a different case. We think about orthography. So let's see what is orthography then. In Greek, ortho means correct and graphy means writing. So we can say that orthography means the correct writing or the correct way to write a particular language. And orthography is language specific. Even though there can be a script that can be used for writing several orthographies, orthographies are always specific to a particular language. Orthography informs about the spelling and writing rules of a language. For example, the letters that are present in that language is specific to that language. And the punctuation rules, such things are also specific to that language. So since orthography and script are interconnected, let's see what script is. We all talk about script or lipi, and we all know that list of symbols or characters that are used to write a language is called script. Or we can say that it is what we see, the look of the writing. As we know that Devanagari script is used to write Marathi and Hindi and other languages in the Hindi belt. And also Latin is used to write English and French. Then Tamil has a different script. We know about this. As I already mentioned, when we think about orthography, we need to think about certain, the deeper side of orthography. When we see something, just as I said, the script, when we see something, we try to read it because we know the script. And when we are familiar with the script, if we are not able to read it, we think that, oh, this is not my language. Something like in Roman script, if something, for example, Father was talking about Konkani. If Konkani is written in Roman script, I may be able to decipher it, decode it, but I may not understand it because I'm not a Konkani speaker. So orthography and script, they are interrelated. And also, even when we know familiar script, we need some knowledge about the language to read it. So in the past, we have already heard from father, and also we all know William Carey and other people who are our forefathers who had taken a lot of effort to develop different languages and document them, provide literature for them, and also develop orthographies, alphabets, writing system, dictionaries, and all those things. They were our forerunners. And we know that they had to learn the language. They had to live in that particular area for several years, maybe their lifetime. And they developed phonology, which talks about how sounds are arranged in a language, or which all can come together, which all cannot come together, how to represent it, how to form words using letters. All those things they learned, and they developed phonology. And from phonology, they developed orthography. It was an enormous task, and it took a lot of effort and time. And it was most of the times, as we have seen in one of the pictures in the earlier presentation, that it was done basically by the linguist with the help of local scholars. So it was the interest of the linguist that was at work there, and others joined in. And they had to even design a script exclusively for the language. Earlier times, developing script also was part of the job. And they had to devise a new script which looked like something specific for this particular language. And linguists study the language and its linguistic features. Whatever language features that particular oral community had, they had to learn it and they had to work on it and then devise an orthography. Let's come to the modern day. We all know that the olden days were difficult with less technology, but with the technology that is available now, and also with different approaches coming up, nowadays we look at language speakers as the main decision makers, because the language belongs to them. And it is done in community participation. Linguists assist with technical help whenever needed and use state language scripts mostly. Let's think about why script or alphabet development. All languages, both spoken and written, have a rich vocabulary, spelling rules, grammar, and discourse or literary features. Though people always say that written language has more prestige over the oral languages, but it is not true that we can say that both languages have a rich vocabulary and tradition. So only difference is that it is just oral tradition. And we have worked with several languages which had been spoken orally for 1,000 years or maybe hundreds of years. They too have a rich oral tradition, even though we think that, okay, this is not visible to others. Only within the community it is known. And the second reason for alphabet development or script development is endangered languages disappear over time. We are all familiar with the term endangered languages, which is circulating now. Languages that are becoming extinct over several years or lost over several years. In the past 50 years, India has lost around 220 languages, and 197 languages in India are considered endangered by UNESCO. And also, when we think about script development, we can think about preservation and promotion of languages, like our forefathers did. Just because they had put in their effort and their life into this work, now we are having literature and other even religious texts and books to read. It was their effort. And now we consider about the lesser known languages, the minority languages, or maybe the majority languages, but known as minority because of the oral status. We can think about the preservation and promotion of languages. Orthography development helps a lot with the preservation and promotion of languages. We know that when we start writing a language, we can have literature and it can be used to promote the language. It has a different identity then, and also for centuries, for generations that will remain. Let's look at the process of alphabet development. So right now, when we focus on alphabet development, we do it in a workshop setting where representatives from the language community are gathered in the language area itself or outside of the language. In this particular workshop setting, men, women, educated and non-literate people join as representatives of the community. And different age groups from young to old are also part of the workshop. And we do this alphabet development as a community-based alphabet workshop. And they discuss among themselves to settle issues. And some participatory tools are also used when there are disputes or when there are confusions. So they start writing their language in the workshop. they start writing stories. Then they find out that, okay, it's the same story, or the story written by me is different from what is written by this person. The spelling is different. Oh, we all different write in different ways. So what is the solution? Then they write down all those differences in spellings, then have discussions, then write again, write several stories, then collect word lists and analyze the word list and find out what is happening and how it is happening. And if there is any need, the linguist assists them to with technical help. But primarily, all the decisions are made by the community because it is their language. We can give only a suggestion or maybe technical help or linguistic help where we say that scientifically this is a possibility. You can consider writing this particular symbol or put a mark under it. That's only a suggestion. Usually, we do not give that suggestion, but we usually assist them and work with them as they develop it. And another question is, most of the times people ask us, oh, so you're going to develop a new script for the language, or do you develop a script for the language? Actually, we should say that no and yes, but it should be a no actually, because we are not developing a new script for this language. Most new writing systems use a script of the state language instead of inventing a new one. There are several reasons for it. The first thing is familiarity. People already recognize and read the state language. Most of the communities are now literate, or at least the younger generation are going to schools and colleges. So familiarity is one aspect. The second is education benefits. Children and young youth can transfer the skills, the literacy skills that learned either in the state language to their mother tongue or from the mother tongue to their state language. Next is social and economic integration. It helps the speakers to communicate with others. We are one whole nation. So it is definitely needed for us to communicate with one another, especially if it is in the same region. Yet, there are some languages like Santali who have their own traditional script and they are using it or reviving it. And when it comes to orthography and language development and documentation, why do we emphasize on language development and documentation? Because I have already mentioned it, writing a language helps preserve it for generations. And written word has more emphasis and can last long or lesser threat of endangerment. And when a language gets a writing system, it survives and thrives. Communities feel empowered to record their history, their stories, and knowledge. And literacy in one's mother tongue makes learning easier and strengthens their identity. Yet there are challenges. These challenges are a different kind when we compare it to the olden age. The first is the linguist role. The linguist must understand the basic structure of the state language and script. For example, I have had an experience when working with the Marathi team. They were the state language is Marathi, and this local language was having confusion about representing the sounds using the Marathi script. Since though we had some basic understanding about Marathi, we couldn't help much with the symbols to choose because the person who was in charge of that particular team also did not know Marathi well. So linguists must understand the basic structure of the state language and script. Another example is another instant can be where bordering languages which are found in bordering state borders. For example, Odia and Telugu or Tamil and Malayalam. So in such places, we need to understand the state language script and help the people to understand what can be put and how can we find a solution for a problem. And community motivation. The language community must be committed to testing, refining, and using the new writing system. We have had an experience where we conducted one workshop at a particular place, and after 3 years, they came to us again, asking us to help the same groups with orthography development because they couldn't follow properly at the right time. Such things also happen. So we need to ensure that we are in close follow-up with those people who are in charge of the language development and also testing, refining, or using the new writing system. Then consensus and adoption. Community agreement to the newly developed orthography. It is also a challenge when people from different sections may not agree with the developed orthography. It's our desire to see the whole community using it, but sometimes it takes time. And there are meetings and discussions that are needed to finalize spelling rules and ensure acceptance. Since orthography development doesn't happen over a year, it takes years to get a language orthography standardized and approved by an authority. And also follow by linguists is a must, where linguists need to follow with the people who are in the community and also make sure that right decisions are made, maybe offer technical help, and also to ensure that testing and other steps are done on time. So I'll then now move on to field accounts from practitioners. The first is from a field linguist from Northeast India. Jenny, she talks about the languages, and she says 6 language projects have integrated the writing system into their literacy programs. They established a literacy committee to oversee its implementation, and 2 languages have been officially recognized by the state government. And that is because of the orthography development and the efforts that were put in by their organization. You can see one textbook which is developed by the government for a particular language. Another one is from East India. So he says, our team helped the private university and the state government to produce materials like dictionary and school textbooks in the mother tongue. We were able to do this because of our experience and work in orthography. So we always advocate that it's always the first step for language documentation. Start with orthography, then you will be developing the language by publishing dictionaries, newspapers, other literature, grammar, whatever we want. But this is the first step. And languages that lack a written tradition often disappear without traces, except in personal memories or scattered recordings. Writing not only helps preserve vocabulary and grammar, but also makes it easier for future generations to reclaim their heritage. This is why language documentation efforts often prioritize developing orthographies and written materials alongside audio recordings. I can also mention one more incident and then this wind up. This language also is found in Northeast India. Gupun language was at the risk of disappearing decades back, as its speakers had almost entirely switched to Hindi for daily communication. It was rarely spoken at home or in public. However, the development of an orthography provided a turning point. Literacy books were published using the orthography we developed. We started promoting mother tongue literacy and encouraged them to use it for daily communication. The community then gradually began to embrace their mother tongue once again. Presently, even children can speak their mother tongue confidently. This revival demonstrates the power of a writing system in preserving and revitalizing endangered languages. This is an excerpt from one of the language facilitators from there. We'll be available for any questions after this, and Dr. Vinny also will be available for that. So once again, it takes years for the whole community to use an orthography, but it is still the first step towards language documentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Feba, for this beautiful presentation. And this is really going to help us. Even I'm from a linguistic background. I have a team of translators. I have a company who we translate books into all Indian languages. And we have done a lot of work in unwritten languages, only those languages which are spoken like Santali, Maithili, and Bhojpuri we are concentrating a lot. So this information, this all was very helpful even to me. And I believe that it will be for many people. Thank you very much.
Indian Christian Day. Yeshu Bhakti Divas. Love, serve and celebrate.